let's see the one more concept called as files. Okay. So whenever you want to write something to it, first we'll see writing, because once we write something, then only you can read data from a file, right? Let's say I'll take one file. Okay. Let's say I'll take one file as one variable I'll take. Okay. And I need to, the first thing what I need to do is I need to open that file, right? There is a method called as open. You need to pass two parameters. One is the name of the file and other one is a mode, in which mode you want to open. I'm giving the name of the file called as myfile.txt. Okay, I'm giving the file as myfile, and which mode I need to open? I need to open in write mode, right? I have to write something to the file, right? So I'm opening it in write mode. Okay. By default, whenever you open a file without any path, right, it will be created in the root folder only. Okay, it will be created in this folder only. Okay, so I've created a file and I open the I have a file. I open the file it in the write mode. Now I want to write something to the file. So there is a method called as write method. So file dot write. Okay, let's say I'm going to write like welcome to Selenium. Welcome to Selenium. Selenium training. Now I open a file. I've written in a write mode. I've written something to the file, and I need to close it. This is very simple in Python. Like I am closing the file. So run this program. So now ideally the file got created. See, my file.txt file got created, and it has entered some text called as welcome to Selenium. Is it clear what I'm talking? So what is the purpose of a write method? The purpose of a write method is to write a string into a text file. Is to write string into a text file. Okay, but generally we don't write a single word into a file, right? We write some list of lines. Okay, for that purpose, what I am doing is I'm going to use one more method called as write lines. Okay, file dot write lines. See, file dot write lines I'm going to use. So you can write any value in this. For example, I'm going to create one variable called as L, because I have to write it here. So here I'm going to create one list. In this, I'm going to write this is a demo file. Okay. Okay. And new line, I want to write is for web automation, and the new line Selenium cannot support desktop apps. We cannot support. So this is what I'm taking it in a list, and I'm passing the list here. Okay, this is what I'm taking in a list and I'm passing a list. And here I need to use a method called as write lines. Okay, now go to this file. See, it has created it. And if you want to write it in new line, you can write it in a new line also. We can place a slash in here. It will always replace. Okay, it will always replace. But if I'm writing a right line here, writing, even then it will take, I think, one second. Let me try this. See, it will not take C. Right will take only a string. Right lines will take data in lines. Okay, so I have to use lines only here. What is the difference between write method and write line method? Is write line is used to insert multiple strings at the same time. Is it clear what I'm talking? This is how we can write data to a file. Finally, see, we need to open the file in a particular mode and we need to write data and then we need to close the file. So I open the file in write mode, means always it will replace. Okay. Whenever I'm saying write mode, right, always it will replace. So whenever you see that, always it will be a single set of data. And what else? If I open the file in append mode, okay, which is A, it will add data to the existing file. Okay, it will add data to the, see, it is adding data, see, adding data to the existing file. Is it clear what I'm talking? Write mode means it will overwrite the existing data. Just make a note of this program. Once you're completed, let me know. Any questions? It's only 4 lines, right? So one is to open the file in a particular mode, write data and close the file. If you have a single line, then use write method. If you have multiple lines, then use write line method. Now reading text from a file. Text from a file. Concept is same. You need to open the file. Okay, you need to open the file in read mode. In read mode, and you need to call a method called as read method to read the data. Read the data from file and then close the file. Okay, so where is my input file? In the same location, right? File underscore input. This is the same location. I'm opening this particular file, but now the mode of operation is a read operation. So I'm replacing W with R. The mode of operation is a read operation. After that, what I need to do? I need to read the file, right? So if I want to read the file, I have a method called as read method. So file input dot read. It will read the complete file, which I'm going to place it one in string. I'm going to place it one string and I'm going to print this particular value. Okay, ideally it should read the data from this file and print this particular value. See, it is reading the data from the file and it is printing. Finally, I need to close the file, right? So input file, sorry, file input dot close. Okay, so it is reading the data from the file. Now, if I want to read only like the particular characters, like only I want to read only 5 characters or 10 characters, in that case, just first you make a note of this program. I'll make changes to it. This is the way to read the data from a file. Once you have completed, let me. Read method. The purpose of the read method will read the data, will read the entire data. Entire it will read the entire data from the file. So if you want to read only a particular count, like let's say I want to read the first 15 characters. Okay, let's say I want to read first 15 characters in that particular file. Then see, it is reading only the first 15 characters. If you pass a value, right, it will read till that particular value. And if you want to read only a single line, okay, if you want to read only a single line, I need to use a method called as a read line. Read a single line, for example. This I'm going to comment. I'm not going to use the read method. I'm going to use a method called as a read line. This will read the first line. Okay. This will read the first line. And if you want to read the second line, you can use a for loop or you can use the read line. This will read the second line. Okay. This will read because I have to print every time, right? So I'm using here. Okay, this is reading the first line. This is the second line. If I want to read all the lines, okay, if I want to read all the lines, right, I have to use read lines. Okay, it is reading all the lines in that particular file. Is it clear? Yes, no?
Sir, can you show again if we want to read only the second line?
No, not only second line, line by line, you have to use read line method. See, I'm reading the first line here and I'm printing that particular value. And if I want to read the second line, again, I need to repeat this.
Okay.
Again, you have to repeat it. And if you want to read all the lines, use read lines method. It will take it as a list. First line will be the first element, second line will be second element, third line would be the third element, and fourth line would be the fourth element. We'll treat it as a list. Is it clear what I'm talking?
Yes.
But in interview, they'll not ask like this simple question like, can you tell me how do you read a line? Or can you tell me how do you write a line? They will give you some text. Okay, they'll give you some text and ask you to count the words in a particular file. Okay, they'll give you a file and they'll give you a word and they'll tell you how many, let's say how many words it is repeated, how many times that particular word is repeated. For example, So I have one sample file. Okay. So this is all the Telugu actors name like Chiranjeevi. Like if you look at this document, right? Like Chiranjeevi is a Telugu star. Was a student at the Madras Film Institute and an amateur stage actor. And Mahesh Babu was born in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, for a prominent Telugu cinema actor. Like this, I have some text. In this one, I want to, there is a word called as Pawan Kalyan. If you look at here, there's a word called as Pawan Kalyan, and it has repeated twice. Okay, it has repeated twice. I want to know in a file how many times I'm giving you the file and I'm giving you the word. I want to know how many times that particular word is repeated. Okay, this is what is my question. Okay, I'm copying this. Okay, I'm copying this and I'm placing it in my text file. This file we already have it, right? I'm replacing it. Okay. So first thing what I need to do, I need to open the file, right? I need to open the file in what mode? Read mode. Okay. So I'm opening the file in a read mode. Okay, I'm opening the file and I want to print. Now whenever I open a file in recorder, I want to print the file. Like let's say I take it as file input. Using for loop, I want to print the file. For line in file input, I'm going to write line. This will give me the total file. It is reading line by line. So each one is treated as a element. I'm converting it into a list. Okay. Or you can use this method. Okay. All read file input or read lines will read all the, but it will be in a list. So this is one way of doing it. Or input and then I have to close the file. The other way of doing it. Reading files. Read lines. Print all read files. Comment this one. Open the file. I'm reading the data and I'm closing it. Okay, this is taking it as a list. Okay. What I'll do is I'll use a for loop only and I will read the data. Okay, I'm reading the data. Okay. Using and now I want to enter a word. So I want to enter a word and I want to check whether that particular word is available in my file or not. So here I'm taking a word. Enter the word. Okay. Now I want to, but I'll convert it into lower characters so that searching would be easy. Okay, I'm going to convert it into lower characters. Now I already have my file. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat this. Okay. I'm going to repeat it for each line. Okay. For every line, I'm going to check. I'm going to repeat it for each line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one variable because I need to count the word, right? So I'm going to take one variable and give it a value as 0. For every line, what I want to do is I want to check if word in a particular input file. We already have it in this file, right? For we take one more value as each dot lower. I'm going to convert everything into lower character and I'm going to check whether this word is available here. Then I'm going to increment the count value. Count is equal to count plus 1. Finally, I'm going to print that particular word and I'm going to enclose the file and finally print that word. For printing purpose, you can use this. The word occurred dash times. Here we need format word comma count. This is what you're able to understand, right? This is my file. Question would be something like this. I need to find out how many times the word Pavan is getting repeated. Okay. So let's see. Run the file. Enter a word. I'm entering Pavan. Okay. The word Pavan occurred 0 times. That means it's giving me a wrong value. Count is equal to count. Maybe we need to close the file later. So, close the file. Zero times. So we have the word Pavan, the word Pavan occurred 0 times. Count is not getting incremented. That means it's not going inside the loop. That means I need to again open the file. 1 second. For input word. It occurred 2 times. See, it occurred 2 times. Like this, they will ask the questions. Okay, this will tell you how a concept will teach you how you are reading a file and how you are searching for a particular value in that file. Is it clear? Okay, let's say I want to identify myself. Okay, it is repeated only once, right? Okay, it's occurring only once. Like these questions will come in the interview. This is a very famous program actually. In order to test your skills on the files. Make a note of it. Anything you want, let me.
Sir, can you show the output? Yeah.
Okay. Here, basically what I'm doing, you see, I am opening the file. Okay, I'm just cross-checking what my data in that file. Then again, I'm entering a word. What I'm doing is in that file, I'm checking word is available in that particular line or not. Okay, if it is available, I'm going to increment it. Otherwise, I'm not going to increment it. If you look at here, list, right? So what is the keyword which I'm using? Like in order to find the element in the list, I use in keyword, right? Somewhere I have written it. I've seen it around. The personal similar elements. Append an element, reverse it. In order to find out whether that particular element is available, I'm using the in keyword. Same thing, I'm doing it here. Okay. Completed.
Done, sir.
Okay. So this is what we have been saying all these days, like variables, you should be clear, reserved words and data types. Okay, dictionary, list, string, tuple, how to create strings, slicing a string methods, if condition, if else condition, if else condition, nested if else condition, while loops. Okay, how do you store in a list? How do you identify a list? How do you get a tuple, and how do you use dictionary, and how to create a function, how to create a module, how to create a library. Okay, and what are the different parameters which we pass, like optional parameters, position parameters, keyword parameters, and how to create a module. Whenever you have a same name, how to avoid that conflict, how to state data in the file. This is what we have seen. Now, whenever you are writing some code, right? Okay, whenever you think there is some issue, like the code may be some suspicious, right? In order to, whenever there is suspicious code, right? That code should be placed in a try block. Okay, because it is suspicious, it may throw some error. This concept is called as exceptions. Okay, this is how, just make a note, keep the heading as exception. Just make a note of this diagram, and then we'll see what is an exception. Keep the heading as exception. Just make a note of this one. Completed.
Completed, sir.
Okay, what it says, whenever there's a possibility of getting an error, place that code in the try block, and whenever error occurs, whenever error occurs, what should be done? Should be placed in the except block. Okay, so I'll give a basic introduction. Maybe we'll see tomorrow in detail. So I'm going to create one Python file, exceptions. So we have if a Python program if a Python program contains some suspicious code means what? Probability of getting an error. It may throw some error message. Okay, for example, I'll tell you. Okay, just look at this statement. If a Python program contains suspicious code that may throw an error, we must place the code in try block. In try block, and it should be followed by and try block should be followed by except block, except statement. Which executes when an error. This is also called an exception. Occurs the execution exception occurs. We'll see this concept in detail in tomorrow session. Basically, some of the common exceptions are divided by zero exception. For example, I'm doing multiplication here, right? In this module, I'm doing multiplication. Okay, where I have here I'm doing division, right? If I take zero, right? If I take zero here, then my module will fail, right? I cannot divide it by zero. So, whenever there's a probability of getting an exception, right? We need to handle it with try and except keyword. Okay. This concept I'll discuss tomorrow class. Any questions still here? Let me know. Any questions in variables, list, tuples, dictionary, decision making, loops, function, modules, files? Let me know. No questions, we can stop.